Hello, good afternoon, internet. It's 2:15 on a Wednesday, and I'm walking through my neighborhood. How are you guys doing today? It is really beautiful outside, and the title of my stream today is If You Feel Awful Inside, Go Outside. That's actually a quote I heard from a podcast I used to listen to, and I think it's a really great one because the double meaning of it is like feeling awful inside, as in like inside your spirit. Just go outside. That's an antidote to it. I remember one time, this was years ago, maybe 2018 or 2019. I was in Columbus, Ohio, and I was at a barcade, and I'm standing at the bar, ready to order a drink, and next to me is like these two people talking to each other. One of them was a girl, and she was telling the other person, she was like, yeah, I have 3 different types of anxiety. I have societal anxiety, personal anxiety, and da-da-da anxiety. And my personal anxiety comes from this, this, this. And she was just like so explaining, like in the most like laborious detail, all of her different types of anxiety and like what they all meant and how she was stuck with all of them. And I just remember like thinking to myself, like, what if you just sat in the sun for a second? You know, what if you meditated? What if you ate some healthy food? You know, what if you journaled? It's not to say that people don't get really stuck in a sludge of anxiety, but it was just funny to me that I had this feeling of like, wow, if you spent a quarter of the time you spent researching all of your different anxieties, just sitting in the sun, just staring at a tree, you might not need to hold on to those anxieties so deeply. So I witnessed that a few years ago, or like 5 or 6 years ago. And I remember a year or two ago, I heard this quote, if you feel awful inside, go outside. And yeah, I wasn't feeling awful inside today, but I was feeling stuck. And I was like kind of sitting at my computer. I sent an email, and then I was like going to edit some videos, but not feeling inspired by what I was watching. And then my program crashed. And so then I moved to the couch to do some writing, and I wrote like 2 lines of lyrics and then opened up a YouTube. And I just found myself spending this morning and afternoon like wanting to work on stuff and then not really, like saying I wanted to work on stuff and then not working on stuff. So I thought, you know what, like I haven't been outside yet today. And I think going outside and going on a walk can be an antidote to some stuckness. And then that quote came to me. It's like, if you feel awful inside, go outside. You know, one other thing I want to share, I've talked about this a lot lately. Ever since I went to the Avaloq retreat in New Hampshire, I really felt like I connected with the trees in a new way. The trees, man. But I just remember while I was out there, the thing that kept occurring to me, the phrase that kept coming to mind is, the trees aren't going anywhere. And as I'm walking, I've never been down the street before, but check out these trees. See, how does this look? They're not going anywhere. These trees have been here longer than probably 85% of the people who live here. They're not going anywhere. They don't care about bills, you know, accolades, crime, injustice. They just be, though. The trees are just existing. They just be. And I think it's an important reminder that we often live our lives as human doings instead of human beings. It's been a challenge for me for a lot of my life to just accept myself for where I am. I've always had this. I've often lived with this feeling of like I am not valuable unless I'm doing something. I suppose right now I'm doing a stream, but I came outside to go on a walk because I found myself struggling to be still and struggling to work. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go be outside because outside is what is, you know? Like it's a little trippy, but like, yeah, like we come from the ground, and it's good to just get out. Even in the city, there's so much green you can see if you just like pay attention to it, and it can really help boost clarity and creativity. The sun feels good on my skin and it's good for you. Get that vitamin D. Yeah, I just wanted to go on a short walk and share that. I will also share that yesterday I ended up playing I played that gig with Evan and John. I streamed from the rooftop, just a silly short stream. Yeah, we went to 2 different establishments to talk about filming a music video, and was just reminded of, like, it doesn't hurt to ask, and you won't get what you want unless you ask. And that was a cool reminder that we have some leads on some spots to film some videos. And yeah. But yeah, so the gig we got yesterday, we actually got it like last minute. And it was very, very fun and funny. I've worked with this company a little bit now, and pretty much every event I've done for them has been so strange in that it kind of feels like we're not supposed to be there. And it kind of feels like they don't really know what they want. And like the person in charge says she wants one thing, but it maybe doesn't quite feel right. So I asked her what kind of music we should play. And she's like, well, can you just like feel the room? And I said, yeah. And then people were talking and hanging and barely listening to us. So I was like, okay, so we were mostly doing instrumental music. And then she came over and she's like, more vocal music, more vocal music. So I sang a bunch, and basically like nobody was listening, and I was singing some of my really silly songs like My Jacket Don't Fit and Girlfriend in Dubai and Race Car Bed. And just kind of pushing the limits on how far I could go, just like making stuff up and saying crazy stuff into the mic and seeing if anyone's paying attention. My favorite moment was at one point I went, if you can hear me, say yeah. And nobody turned and said yeah or anything. People just kept talking to each other. And me and John and Evan were just cracking up because it was so absurd. But what it reminded me of the early Marc Rebillet videos. Well, Marc Rebillet is a famous touring musician who is unapologetically himself, and he does a crazy, completely improvised show for stadiums of people in a bathrobe. Amazing guy, so awesome. And there's videos of him before he was famous, where he's just doing his show like basically at like a brewery. And these videos are awesome because like you can tell like the brewery is full of people just there eating, and he's doing his thing, which is outrageously weird. And you watch the people like be unsure of what he's about. And what's cool is sometimes in the videos at the beginning, people are like, who is this guy? And at the end, like he's got like 100 new fans because they're like so captivated by what he's doing. The gig I did yesterday and with this company a couple times, the energy of these gigs reminds me of that, where it's an opportunity for me to be unapologetically all the way in on the weirdness that is the music I create, and not be embarrassed about how that might change the energy. And I kind of realize like, musicians will play these background music gigs and like play in such a way that nobody listens to them. And like they're afraid of like commanding the attention of the room. And yesterday I kind of took it the other way. It's like, what if I try my best to force people to listen to us? And the thing is they were there to have a networking event. So they were not going to listen to us, which gave me the chance to practice, like just going as hard as I could. I don't know. It was very, very empowering, actually. When I was talking to John, I was like, dude, I'm done playing background music gigs where like I'm like afraid of like being overstepping my boundaries. John and I, we did a background music gig like 2 months ago where like we were just sensing nobody was listening. And so we just started like while we were playing my song Bear Fight, and we were just going like, yeah, wah, just making these like bird call sounds just to see if anyone would turn and look at the band, and nobody would. It's just like, I don't know, just opening up my mind to, hey, like, if you have a background music gig, make it fun. Like nobody's listening anyway, so do something ballsy. And then if they listen, actually that's amazing because you get a chance to have a conversation with them. You actually created a moment they could remember instead of just being like a backdrop that's there to be forgotten about. Like make them remember what you're doing, even if they remember it because they go, whoa, that was fucking insane. I think that's there's more value to that. Delicious burp. Yeah, it's beautiful out today. Grateful to just be walking on the sun. The sun is like, standing in the sun is if you can focus on gratitude, like what am I trying to say? Standing in the sun is energizing and it's nourishing, and it's I can't help but be in the moment and be grateful when I've got the sun shining on me. So yeah, I'm already feeling, not that I was feeling awful, but I was feeling stuck, and now that I've walked around a little bit, I'm feeling much better. I am energized by being outside in the sun. If you feel awful inside, go outside. Safety Squad / Adventure with Danny is at Epiphany Center for the Arts, September 22nd. Make sure you get your ticket. It's going to be a banger. Goodbye, friends.